Once upon a time, in a small quiet village, there lived a young girl named 𝘚𝘚. She was 14 years old, with bright sparkling eyes and a heart full of curiosity. 𝘚𝘚 loved asking questions about the world and dreamed of learning everything she could, but 𝘚𝘚's family was poor, and they couldn't afford to send her to school. Every day, she helped her mother in the fields, and every evening she spent hours reading old, torn books borrowed from a kind neighbor. She believed that one day, knowledge would change her life. One sunny afternoon, 𝘚𝘚 was walking through the village when she saw an elderly woman struggling to carry a heavy basket of apples. Without thinking twice, 𝘚𝘚 rushed over and said softly, "Let me help you." The woman smiled warmly and replied, "Thank you, dear. Not many young people are this kind these days. What's your name?" "My name is 𝘚𝘚," she said shyly. "I love helping people. And I love learning new things." The woman chuckled softly. "You remind me of myself when I was young. I've traveled far, seen many places, and learned many lessons. If you'd like, I can share my stories with you." 𝘚𝘚's eyes sparkled with excitement. "I would love that." She exclaimed. That evening, 𝘚𝘚 visited the woman's home. It was small but magical, filled with strange objects from distant lands, old maps, seashells, and even a little golden compass. The woman introduced herself as Mrs. Turner and began sharing tales of her adventures, crossing mountains, wandering through forests, and sailing across oceans. "Each journey taught me something important," Mrs. Turner said gently. "Experience is the best teacher, 𝘚𝘚. And remember, you can learn from anyone's experiences, not just your own." 𝘚𝘚 listened closely, her heart filling with inspiration. That night, she made a silent promise to herself, "Even if I can't travel like Mrs. Turner, I will learn from everything around me." From that day on, 𝘚𝘚 started to see the world differently. When she worked in the fields, she carefully observed how the plants grew and discovered the best ways to care for them. While helping her mother cook, she experimented with spices and flavors, learning how small changes could transform a dish. One afternoon, she noticed a group of children playing near the river. A little boy was trying to build a small boat using sticks and leaves, but it kept sinking. 𝘚𝘚 smiled and walked over. "Maybe try using pieces of bark," she suggested gently. "They're lighter, they might float." The boy hesitated but decided to try her idea. To his surprise, the bark floated perfectly. He looked at 𝘚𝘚 in amazement. "Wow, how did you know that?" 𝘚𝘚 laughed softly. "I didn't. I just thought about how leaves float and guessed bark might work too." Word about 𝘚𝘚's clever ideas began to spread around the village. People started coming to her for advice. Some wanted tips for fixing broken tools, while others asked about planting crops. 𝘚𝘚 didn't always have the answers, but she listened carefully, thought deeply, and tried to solve their problems using what she had learned. One evening, Mrs. Turner visited 𝘚𝘚 and brought her a small notebook as a gift. "Write down everything you learn," she said warmly. "One day, these notes might help someone else." 𝘚𝘚 was touched by the gesture. She promised herself she would fill the notebook with her experiences, observations, and lessons. Soon, the notebook became her most precious treasure. She carried it everywhere, filling it with sketches, ideas, and solutions, from how to fix a torn basket to finding clean water and even calming scared animals. One day, a traveling merchant came to the village. He set up a colorful stall filled with fabrics, tools, and strange gadgets 𝘚𝘚 had never seen before. She couldn't afford to buy anything, but she was fascinated by his stories of faraway lands. The merchant noticed her curiosity and smiled. "You seem eager to learn, young lady. Do you have any questions?" 𝘚𝘚 hesitated for a moment, then asked softly, "How do you know so much about all these things?" The merchant smiled proudly. "Years of experience, my dear, traveling, making mistakes, and learning from them. Every place I visit teaches me something new." Emma's eyes lit up. "I want to learn too," she said, "but I've never left this village." The merchant chuckled kindly. "You don't have to travel far to learn. Life teaches you lessons wherever you are, if you pay attention and never stop asking questions." His words reminded Emma of Mrs. Turner's advice. She shyly showed him her little notebook filled with notes and sketches. The merchant flipped through the pages and said with admiration, "This is remarkable. You're already on the path to becoming wise. Keep learning, and one day people will come to you for advice." Emma felt a warm sense of pride and hope. She realized that even though she hadn't traveled like Mrs. Turner or the merchant, her own experiences were just as valuable. From that day on, she became even more determined to learn. She noticed every little detail around her, how water flowed after rain, how shadows changed at sunset, and how animals behaved in different seasons. Every small thing became a lesson waiting to be learned. One morning, Emma heard a commotion in the village square. A cart carrying supplies had broken down, and the villagers couldn't fix it. Emma walked closer, observing the problem quietly. Then she said, "Maybe we can use a long stick as a lever to lift the cart and free the wheel." The villagers were unsure, but they decided to try her idea. With some effort, the cart was lifted and the wheel was freed. Everyone cheered and the cart owner thanked Emma. "You're a clever girl. How did you think of that?" Emma smiled gently. "I once saw a farmer use a stick to lift a heavy rock. I thought it might work here too." Word of Emma's problem-solving skills began to spread beyond the village. Travelers passing through started seeking her advice and often gave her small gifts in gratitude: seeds, shiny stones, and little trinkets. Emma kept these treasures, each one reminding her of the lessons she had learned. One day, a noblewoman from a nearby town came to the village. Looking for Emma. "I've heard about your clever ideas," she said. "I need your help. The stream near my estate has dried up, and we need water for a feast I'm hosting." Emma thought carefully and replied, "We can dig a small trench to redirect water from another stream nearby. It will take effort, but it's possible." With the villagers' help, Emma worked tirelessly for 2 days. Finally, the water began flowing to the noblewoman's estate. Grateful, the noblewoman gifted Emma a beautiful silver necklace. Emma treasured it, but what she valued even more was the lesson of teamwork and persistence she had learned that day. As the years passed, Emma grew wiser and more confident. Her little notebook was now filled with knowledge. And she started a new one, continuing her journey of learning. She helped villagers, guided children, and inspired others to observe, ask questions, and never stop growing. One day, she met a young girl crying in the fields. The girl had made a mistake while helping her father and ruined some crops. Emma sat beside her and said softly, "Don't worry. I've made many mistakes too, but each one taught me something. Mistakes aren't failures, they're steps to learning." Together, they found a way to replant the crops, and the girl smiled again. Before leaving, she said, "I want to be like you one day." Emma's heart warmed. She realized that her journey wasn't just about learning for herself, but also about inspiring others. Years later, Emma became a respected leader in the village. People traveled from far and wide to seek her wisdom. Her notebooks, once filled with small lessons, became treasures passed down for generations, and so, Emma's life became a living reminder that wisdom doesn't come from avoiding mistakes, it comes from learning from them.